Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So today we have a special guest. It's Mr. Amyot, the Corporate Development VP of Mancha Resources. So good morning, Mr. Amyot.
Good morning. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you. So, Mr. Amyot, Mancha Resources, if you look at your stock here, just put the ticker of your stock here, Mancha Resources. So if you look at a longer-term chart, we see that the stock really was able to hold itself together pretty much. So recently, I know that you've been strengthening your financial situation. You have zero debt. You publish your earnings today. You increase in cash flows. But actually, your shares are trading 3 times their cash flow versus 9.3 for the industry. So what steps have you taken to be able to correct the situation?
Well, I guess being here is probably the first step in correcting the situation.
That's good to know.
It's interesting that you're showing the share price performance. The company is a very recent reality. The company was created at the end of 2006. Mm-hmm. The focus of the first few years was to get known by the institutional investors. So the portfolio managers, the guys that deal with millions of shares every day, we had to be in front of them. They had to know the story. And these guys have been investing heavily in 2008, 2009, and 2010. And the result was just outstanding. In a matter of 2 years, we went from 4 cents to almost $3.
Yeah.
This is kind of an easy job when you're already in production, when you're growing your production on a yearly basis, and when you're generating more and more cash every year. So the market just recognized the value, came to the story, and the share price responded very well to that. This being said, though, once that step has been taken, the next step is to get known by the general public. La Mancha, as I just said, is a 4-year-old company, very recent. Most of your listeners probably have limited knowledge of what we do, who we are, what we've done, where we're going to, the growth we've achieved, the growth we're going to achieve going forward. And that's going to be the next step. The next step in taking the share price from $2 to $5 will be to make sure that everybody's listening today knows about La Mancha, and we have to repeat that from Halifax to Vancouver, from New York to Los Angeles, everywhere. We have to repeat the story because the numbers are there, the performance is there. We just need the market to acknowledge what's going on.
Excellent. Because I know that La Mancha, of course, you have projects a lot elsewhere in Africa and also in Australia, but the projects that you have in Africa actually are located in countries as experienced recently political turmoil, mostly Sudan, Ivory Coast. So in Ivory Coast, does the election of Mr. Ouattara right now, does it reassure you?
The walk to democracy, and we've been talking a lot about that over the last few months, is always positive for any mining company, for any company doing business internationally. Countries that are walking towards democracy are improving their situation and will become stronger partners, stronger place to do business in. Obviously, sometimes that walk towards democracy has some exactly some period of with a little bit more of tension. Mm-hmm. That's what happened in Ivory Coast. The fact is, though, that today the country is stronger than it was a year ago. Okay. Much stronger than it was 18 months ago. And we're just walking along with the country of Côte d'Ivoire towards democracy. For us, the outcome, the potential going forward is also stronger than what it was. Those bad souvenirs are behind, and we're rebuilding the country with the Ivorians.
But when you say that the country is stronger than it is 18 months ago, does that mean that La Mancha was able to adapt itself to the new political climate there and was able to retain its contacts with that they had with President Gbagbo?
Well, the reality for a mining company for like ours is that nothing really has changed. Okay. Our employees are still the same. We're still in the same village. We still have the same relationship with the surrounding communities, and therefore our day-to-day reality is the same. Obviously, we're learning to know the new government, but the fact that this new government is betting on transparency, on making sure that the global prosperity is being created for the country in general. These are all positive elements for us, for the industry in general. We have a lot of other tenements that we're exploring in Ivory Coast. This is very positive for us because building value going forward will be easier than it was in the past. And as for the mine that is already in existence, this is the continuity of what we were already doing. So this is all positive for us.
All right, excellent. So now we talk already about Sudan, about Ivory Coast. I mean, now about Sudan, because I know you have a project that you want to bring into production, which is the VMS project. So has the split between the North Sudan and the South Sudan, has it undermined the negotiations with the Sudanese government concerning the structure of the ownership of the VMS property?
I think this is a key question because La Mancha today, that's 125,000-130,000 ounces of production per year. What we have in mind is to produce 3 times as much in 3 years from now. So by 2015, we want to be at 350,000 ounces of production per year. And the key to that, there's no miracles or there's no dreams about how we could do it. And there's a very clear path to 350,000 ounces a year. This is Sudan. This is the project that we have in Sudan. So therefore, obviously, the situation in the country is key for us. We have a presence in the country that goes back to more than 20 years ago. Once again, we have a very good understanding of the culture there, very good acceptance by the local population surrounding the deposits and the activities. So our bet is just, once again, continuity. Yes, there's a lot of things going on in the country, but the La Mancha universe around the mine in Sudan, this is a question of stability. This is what we're building on, and so far so good. When a mine has been in production for 20 years without running into any type of violence, any type of problems, setbacks on a mine site, obviously cannot be a guarantee for the next 20 years, but it's probably an indication that things are being done the right way, and it should bring some support as to the capacity that we have to keep operating this project and more importantly to grow this project so that La Mancha reaches its 350,000 ounce of production target.
Excellent. And you're talking about like the fact that La Mancha was able to hedge itself against all this political turmoil in Sudan, because you're saying that you still with the local community, they still accept you as a foreign company who comes there to exploit their land. Given this type of unstable locations, what type of values do you share with your employees? Are you a company that really trying to involve mostly the local community? For example, when you go to Ivory Coast or to Sudan, you're like, okay, you know what? Like we need like at least 20% of engineers that are from Sudan, instead of just bringing foreigners who get paid a big salary and like the country doesn't get nothing in return, and the local population is ending up here with the land being exploited and having nothing left. How do you proceed?
That's probably the very first step that you have to do to gain the trust of the communities around a project, is to get them involved, and obviously to give them some jobs. Access to the jobs in the project is the first step to that. In Asai, for example, in Sudan, out of the 1,200 employees that we have there, we only have 15 or so expatriates. So more than 98% of all the employees working in Asai, and that goes from the guys operating the kitchen to the chief geologist. Most of them are Sudanese. You don't get to that result on the first year, because obviously you get there. Most people don't have the training nor the experience to be able to run a project like this one. But as I was saying before, we've been there for 20 years, and every year we've been investing in the potential of our employees, and the result is that today 98% of the workforce is local. And that's exactly what we're doing in Côte d'Ivoire as well. And that's what we're going to keep doing in Sudan with the new project and with the new employees that we're going to have to hire as well.
Excellent. And you talked recently about the CIL technologies that you intend to use and the VMS project in Sudan. So what is this technology, and will it be able to be applied to other projects that you have around the world, in Australia or in Ivory Coast?
CIL technology is a very common technology in the industry. Basically, it's like a batch processing versus the more traditional heap leaching strategy. So basically, rather than the gold is always recuperated by dissolving it in a solution, and then you recuperate the solution, and that's how you recuperate your gold. With the CIL technology, rather than spraying slowly on a heap type of ore, your solution. You're using very large tanks. Rather than taking 30 days, it takes only a few hours. So it's much faster. You increase your recovery, the recovery of the gold that you that you've mined exactly. So the result is a win-win for us, faster and more efficient. So that's why we're moving on to that new technology.
Excellent. And I know that you have a special relationship with Areva, because I know that Mr. Russell used to work for you. But tell me, I know that actually you have $50 million in cash, and to be able to bring the VMS project in Sudan into production, that will require an investment of $187 million. Do you intend to look to Areva and as a banker to be able to provide you the financial power to bring this project into production?
This is an interesting point that you're raising. Areva has been in the background of La Mancha, and that probably explains to a certain extent why we've been able, as such a small company, because La Mancha is still a junior company. There aren't that many junior companies who've been able to get 2 new mines in production in a matter of a few days, a few years, to almost triple their production in the first 4 years of their existence, and who envisage to once again triple the production going forward in the next few years. A lot of our performance and our ability to move projects very quickly is partly due to the fact that we're supported by a huge mining group behind Areva. Now, will Areva act as a banker? They have done so in the past. That doesn't mean they're going to repeat the same thing in the future. But the very good thing, though, you were saying earlier that we're generating a lot of cash. Today's financial statements that we've released are showing that our cash position has increased to $90 million. Okay. So the funding gap that you were referring to has almost vanished, because when you take in consideration the fact that we own a portion of the mine in Sudan, we're only going to have a portion of the project to fund, and therefore the project can already be considered fully funded. Okay. So with the cash that we're generating, only good news going ahead.
Excellent. Coming ahead. And I know that, of course, you're involved in Australia, you're involved in Africa, but which country do you find to be more mining friendly? Because I know that Australia recently, September 2011, they applied what's called a minerals resources rent tax that was applied to iron and coal companies. So do you think this could be able to be applied to your company as well as a gold producer?
What makes a country mining friendly is so wide and so diverse that it's very difficult to pinpoint one element and to be able to say this is my favorite country. The way we look at it is first and foremost the geological potential. Okay. What makes a project a success is there what you're looking for in the ground. In our case, gold. And for us, there's absolutely no doubt that in Sudan, we've found a lot of gold so far. We're still finding a lot of gold, and we're going to keep finding gold for quite some time going forward. So if I had to pick one today, that would be Sudan and the SI mine.
Excellent, Mr. Amyot. So we only have 13 seconds, but do you expect for the next 5 years, you still expect the company to reach $5?
I'd be very disappointed if it was only $5, but I'm not the one to decide, so I'll keep on promoting. And once again, thanks a lot for having us today.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Amyot.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.